Hello, I am Yogini Sunita, and this is Meditation, Yoga, and Stuff podcast. I believe my dharma or my life's purpose is to share my understanding of meditation, yoga, and Ayurveda, holistic healing science of India. I make these amazing wisdoms accessible and adaptable for present times. So let's start.
Hello and welcome to the podcast. Today's topic is deeper dimension of yoga. When I say yoga, what image come in front of your eyes? What is the first image you associate yoga with? Is it maybe someone doing any asana or physical postures, or is it someone meditating? What image you associate with yoga? And is yoga just the physical movement, or is it a deeper dimension? Yoga has a physical movement which is called asana. Asanas are where we work with energy channels in our system. The physical movement, even though they are happening physically, it is always connected with our deeper dimension, with our energy. So when we move with awareness, our breath, our body, our mind, everything becomes one, and that union is true yoga. In the philosophy of yoga, there is such a tiny importance given to the physical movements. So the physical movements are used to remove obstacles in our energy field. They are also used to prepare body to sit for a longer period of time for meditation. And does this means that we do not pay attention to the physical self? No, that's not what I meant. I really meant was that the physical side is important, but it is not everything. We get this human experience through the physical form. So that's why anything we experience in this life come through the physical form. For example, if we want to move towards enlightenment, we have to have body. Otherwise, there won't be a possibility of enlightenment. So the concept of enlightenment is basically we remove all the blockages from our energy field, and our body becomes such a beautiful instrument to host the divine energy which is already existing there within us and which connects with the universal divine. This is what yoga is. A lot of time we see in our 200-hour, 300-hour, even 500-hour teacher training is a lot of emphasis on the physical side. Yoga, we started looking at it as a exercise. If you entering through that door, that's okay too. There is no judgment here. Any door, there are 8 doors which we can enter on the path of yoga. So any door you are coming in, that's okay. That experience you are getting through maybe physical movements, or maybe meditation practice or breathing practices, you're getting the experience of yoga through ethical code of conduct, or maybe you're getting it through meditation. Whichever path is yours, that's fine. And that's why you will see that on the journey of yoga, there are so many paths. The reason for that is we are unique fingerprint of divine, and our path is going to be unique. Some guidance from the guru is really amazing. It directs us in right direction. Guru tunes into our energy and gives us correct practices. In this modern world, maybe it is difficult to find a guru. And there are also quite horror stories, and people have abused the power of word guru. So I understand that we have this fear behind it a little bit. But I'm not talking about just the physical outer guru. I'm talking about the divine guru within us. We all have capacity to move towards enlightenment. This means that we have the inner guru within us already existing there. So how can we connect with this inner guru? And this is where yoga is meditation. So yoga is meditation. Once again, I'm going to repeat this. Yoga is meditation. If you see in the Patanjali's Yoga Sutra also, there are maybe just 2 lines about asana, and it's all about like how to sit comfortably, how to sit for meditation. So it's taking your seat in the practice. It is not really about any physical movements, but what Patanjali's Yoga Sutra is all about is all about meditation, obstacles on the path of meditation. It is about experience of meditation and what happens when we reach towards samadhi. Samadhi means enlightenment. You may say that enlightenment is not my goal, and that's okay. We don't have to have any goal as such. But if you want to live this life with joy, happiness, and if you want to live this life to fullest, what yoga suggests is to remove blockages from our energy field. And this way we'll experience the true joy, ananda, and true bliss. And so this bliss comes through the correct yogic correct practices for our system. So in this modern world, how can we do that? I suggest that experience different styles, experience what really makes your heart sing. Come back to what really gives you that really beautiful, everlasting energy where you are uplifted at the same time you're grounded. The energy after any asana session, or as we call it, yoga session now, shouldn't be like a coffee hit, like you're literally almost floating off the ground, but there is no grounding, there is no connection with the Mother Earth, and so you are in the cloud. So that kind of energy it will fizzle out. So we need energy where we are still connected with the Mother Earth. We are still really strongly grounded. At the same time, we are beautifully energized. And this is a beautiful way to explain what is beautiful effect of yoga is. One of my youngest student actually asked me that you always talk about the state of yoga or that experience, but what is it? Like, can you explain in the words? I just started thinking, how can I explain it, that oneness in the words? It is really difficult, isn't it? Like, how can I explain my experience in the context of his experience? So we started talking about what is his favorite thing and where he felt really completely one with that experience. And this young kid, being a baseball player, he connected with the baseball, and his words were he was in the zone. I said, well, that's the state of yoga for you. You are completely deeply concentrated. You are literally that moment, but you're still aware. So this is a kind of like a beginning state of yoga. After that, I started noticing him paying more attention into the practice from different angle, and which was really, really amazing for his asana practice, his meditation practice. He evolved into this amazing yogi. So this state of oneness, what is it for you? Have you ever given consideration to what is this life is all about? What is the deeper meaning of human existence? This is how the sages started thinking about, like, why we are on earth, why we are here as a human being. What is the purpose of our life? What is the purpose of our existence? And they were curious, and so they started exploring their mind, their body. They started exploring nature. They started connecting all the dots through the experience of meditation. So the wisdom of yoga comes from experience of meditation. This is where yoga is very unique. Because it comes from meditation, we all can connect with it because it is directly coming from the source of our being. And so we can connect with it. So how can we find connection with it? Maybe you will connect with its physical forms or physical movements. Maybe you will connect it with its relaxation form. Maybe you will connect it with its breathing form. Maybe you will connect it with meditation. And in meditation also, there are so many different paths. For example, there is Sanskrit. Sanskrit language itself is designed or created. Sanskrit language itself was created as a path of enlightenment. So the language, the mantras of Sanskrit language can take us towards enlightenment. And this is beauty of Sanskrit. So you can use that. You can use mantra practice as your basis meditation of your meditation practice. You can use different practices, different techniques to reach your goal. And also these techniques, these practices will evolve with us. They should evolve with us. Now, a lot of time I have seen that people are a little bit afraid of Sanskrit. Explain the importance of Sanskrit here. I have done few podcast episodes on Sanskrit, so you can go back and visit those episodes. So Sanskrit is the language of yoga, first of all. And in Sanskrit, so if we say the heart of yoga is meditation, I would say that then heart of meditation is mantra and heart of mantra is Sanskrit. In other words, Sanskrit is a heart of yoga. And that's why I call it a language of yoga. Sanskrit mantras are very powerful and they help us to move towards enlightenment. I have created 2 courses on Sanskrit. If you are a yoga teacher or if you're not a yoga teacher, even then if you're curious about what is Sanskrit and how it is related to yoga, this one course which is Secrets of Sanskrit Mantra is a course for you. If you are a yoga teacher and if you're interested to bring Sanskrit into your teaching, then Sanskrit, the language of yoga, is for you. And if you want to Sanskrit into your meditation, into your life, then you can do the both courses. These both courses are on demand, so you can click and start your study in your own time. If you have any questions, you can always email them to me. So I hope that you enjoy these courses. I will put a link in the show notes for both these courses. If you don't believe in deity or if you don't want to go with that path, that's okay. You can use the bija mantra, just the sounds, and that will help you to move towards a right direction. If you want to understand what are right practices for your system, I'm happy to help you through the mentoring sessions. I'm happy to help you with mantra, asana practices, breathing practices, the practices which will be unique for your needs. And you don't need 1 hour or 1.5 hours every day. Just 15 minutes or 10 minutes of these practices which are designed for your system will be sufficient to help you move towards your optimal health. We can make yoga as complicated as possible or as simple as possible. Underlying thing is it is experience. And one more very important thing is we are unique fingerprint of divine. So why not pay attention towards what's exactly happening in our body when we are moving with our breath? Notice sensations, notice what's happening in the body in that moment. Notice what is lengthening, what is contracting. Notice the sensations in your whole body. Notice your spine. Notice your breath. Really become aware of each and every cell of your body. And your physical movements or asana practice becomes your moving meditation. When we are really aware, we can take this awareness into our meditation practice. You can start with mindful meditation where it helps us to become aware of our day-to-day activity with really a lot of consciousness. You start noticing simple things around us. When we pay attention towards them, there is a profound wisdom in that as well. When you start connecting with this, you start connecting with nature, you start connecting with people around you, and there is a deeper dimension of our being which starts opening up. And this is what the beauty of wisdom of yoga is. It is a self-exploration. It is a journey towards our own self. What happens that in modern world, human being, I would say, not even just modern world, human being, our tendency is we are constantly looking outwards. And this is by design because we need to protect ourselves. When we were hunter-gatherer stage, we needed to look out to protect ourselves. But in this modern world now, we have lots of screens and we get caught into that like a fly getting caught into a web of spider. Where if we start becoming aware of the web of the spider or the screens, we can actually understand and move around it, or maybe even through within it, within the gap of this web. It doesn't mean that we literally go through the screen. What I mean was that we find a way to navigate between this balance of using screen and not using them when we don't need them. Rather than being addicted to the screen, we use them for our positive purpose and keep them aside when we are done with it. Because in modern world, we cannot avoid the screens. A lot of our businesses, a lot of our activity, connecting with our loved ones. For all these purposes, we do need these screens, but also consciously becoming aware that they're very addictive and how can we navigate through that. And becoming aware is the key. Noticing that what this intake of information is doing to us. When we become aware of that, we can be wiser and we will make a right choice for our system. So this is how we can start noticing when we become aware. Awareness is the key. When we start becoming aware of our surroundings, when we start becoming aware of what's happening within us, we will be much happier. We'll start reducing the activities or reducing the things which will create stress in our life. It could be activity, it could be habit. So you'll find that on this path of yoga, we have to let go of things which are not serving us. And that includes the habit, negative habits, that includes the habits which are not serving us, that also includes the dialogue we have in our mind, which is not serving us. A lot of time we as a human being have this negative tone of voice of our mind which is constantly on repeat. So here when we become aware that this is not serving us, we start noticing that okay, this is a dialogue which is really not who I am. So who am I? And that question helps you to go deeper into connecting with your true self. This is the beauty of wisdom of yoga. You will connect with your true self when you do the correct practices for your system. Now you may ask that, well, yoga is not my path. That's okay. You can use this understanding into your life. You may choose something like Tai Chi, you may choose jogging, you may choose a nature walk, and that's okay. Whatever works for you, any physical movement, with awareness. Start there. You start bringing in awareness, moving each and every joint of your body. Notice what's happening, letting go of held energy in your system, and you will start noticing there is magic happening. You may not want to call it yoga, and that's okay. You may be calling it something else, and that's okay. Become aware of your breath when you are moving with awareness. And you will start noticing that our breath and our mind and our body is very much connected. Every movement have breath, body and mind connected to it. When we allow that to happen, when we start noticing that, we become aware of how we hold tension. We become aware of how the mind sometimes wanders and how we start noticing that why it wanders and how can we bring it back. We start noticing that there are some patterns which we fall into, and how can we slowly and steadily move away from these patterns, or how can we find new pathway to have better positive patterns in our life. And this is what yoga gives you. This is the wisdom of yoga, which is really life transforming. Yoga's breathing practices are so powerful yet so subtle. You will notice that most of the yoga's pranayam practices are through nostril, because when we breathe through our nostrils, the filtered air goes into our system. And you will also notice that if we are mouth breather, our mind is agitated. We fall prey to the airborne diseases. Sages knew this, the ancient wise beings knew this. And they understood this by experimenting these breathing practices on their system, and they realized that certain practices really change our psyche. And open mouth breathing is one of that. So if you have that habit, maybe start closing your mouth and start noticing like how it is impacting positively in your life. Nose breathing through nostrils is really, really important. You may say that, oh, I had a broken septum of the nose, or there is some injury, because of that I cannot breathe through nose, and that's okay. Sages or ancient wise beings suggest that you can visualize you breathing through your nose, and that will still change the flow of prana in your system. It's all about the prana, the energy in our system. Prana is also known as chi. Prana is also known as energy, whatever you want to call it. It's all about gaining that energy and circulating it in our system in positive way. So when we start doing that, when we start doing the activities which is energy gaining rather than taxing our energy, it really helps us to feel energized, move towards optimal health. I'll give you an example. If you talking with your friend 1 or 2 hours, and you'll start noticing that you're feeling tired, you're feeling drained after some time. And when that happens, you'll say that, oh, I wasn't physically doing anything, I was just talking, but I'm feeling tired. This is the energy draining of our system. But if you chant Sanskrit mantras for maybe that hour, not even 1 hour, maybe if you just chanted it for 15 minutes or so, you will notice that it feels like there is a reservoir of energy in our system. And how does that happen? Because basically we are topping up our level of our prana. Now you will also notice that any physical activity can be taxing. We feel tired, we feel drained if we repeatedly do it without stopping. So how can we gain prana? So doing practices like right practices for your system, right physical practices for your system, right practices which will really help you to energize your system in positive way. The more you will do these activities, the more you will do that, it will help you to move towards enlightenment or your optimal health, whatever you want to call it. Even though it is not one and same in modern life, in modern world, I just started using the word optimal health because I have heard so many times from clients that enlightenment is not something they even thought about, and that's okay. Optimal health is in our hands, right? So feeling healthy, happy, younger, maybe sometimes I have heard that as well, and that's okay. Whatever makes your heart sing. So we are taking the same understanding from the mat, yoga's mat, when we are doing any physical activity. We take that understanding that we need to be uplifted at the same time grounded. If we bring that understanding into our day-to-day life in everything, you will start noticing that you will choose prana gaining practices. And the more you will do these kind of things, which is prana gaining, you will notice that you feel energized, you feel better, you feel healthier, you feel calm. And so all this is a beauty of deeper dimension of yoga. I'm going to talk a little bit about the food side of it. So in wisdom of yoga, it is all about sattva or positive energy. And so that also comes from our food. If you are eating food which is giving you amazing positive energy, it is called sattvic food. So sattvic food is the food which is maybe juicy fruit or vegetarian food prepared with a lot of love and compassion. And this food is also served with a lot of compassion, and you're eating it with the company of your loved ones, where there is a joy of sharing this food together. And so this is what this creates the sattva in our system through the food. Nature walk is also creates sattva. So all these are sattvic practices. Wisdom of yoga is all about moving from negative charge of energy towards positive charge of energy. So constantly we are aware of what's happening with our energy. If you see it is depleted, how can we bring more energy back in our system with conscious awareness rather than using a coffee hit? What can we do? What can we change in our life to understand how can I gain more energy? And so there are practices, there are breathing practices, physical practices, which are right for your system. So if you want to know more, just book a session. You can book a 15-minute free session, wellness clarity session, and we can take it from there. I can help you with that. I hope that today's episode helped you to move towards deeper dimension of yoga. If you have any questions or any topics you want me to talk about, just email me through my website, and I'm happy to talk about these topics. All these topics, anything related to wisdom of yoga, Ayurveda, meditation, I'm happy to talk about it. I'm also offering Empower Ability Wellness Teacher Training. This is for teaching people with a disability. So if you are interested in that, please let me know. I'm happy to chat about that as well. I will put all these links in show notes, and I hope that you enjoyed today's session. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. Bye for now.
Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate that you're taking this time out of your day. Don't forget to subscribe. Take care. Bye for now.